Folks, you're listening to the Tuesday night edition. Oh, actually, it's not even Tuesday. I got my days mixed up already. I apologize, folks, sincerely. You're listening to the Rcwr Show on a special night, as it's actually a Monday night, July 23rd, 2012. We are actually joining the 1,000th episode of Raw in progress, where we have for our main event, WWE Champion CM Punk defending his title against John Cena. That's right, John Cena is cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase tonight to be able to take on CM Punk. Will John Cena be able to get the job done tonight? We will know very shortly, folks. This match is definitely going to be running into OT, which is probably going to be fine by the USA Network, as we are clocking in now just 2 minutes past the 00 hour. And we definitely will get you all caught up. Normally, we would just go on ahead and just come on a little bit later, but we just thought with so much ground that needed to be covered on tonight's special, historic episode, we just wanted to go on ahead and come on the air live with you all. For those of you that do not want to be spoiled by the results of tonight's main event, you can just listen to a little bit of music maybe on your iPod or listen to some Sirius XM and come back in about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and this match should be concluded. Have a feeling that it is not going to wrap up within the next 3 minutes. I believe this match will probably wrap up around the 15-minute mark. A lot of buzz has been generated about this episode all week, folks, as buzz that's been happening on the wrestling beat is that something monumental, something historic is supposed to happen at the very end of tonight's episode, as apparently Vince McMahon and crew, they have been hyping up, they've been plotting something big for the past 2 years now. We'll know what will happen within the closing moments of tonight's episode. I'm going to be joined by my special co-host, the lovely co-producer Tammy, in just a little bit, folks. And we should also be joined by our special guest, hip-hop Christian rapper Scooter, who's going to be joining us shortly. We'll definitely be opening up the phone lines in just a little bit, later part of the show. So hang tight, everybody. We aren't sure actually what's going on with Scooter. I actually personally touched bases with the man just 2 hours before Raw came on, and then I followed up with him just an hour before Raw had came on, and I said, hey, we are still on. He said, yes, we're still on. He even plugged it on his website. We've been sending out tweets, messages on Facebook, plugging his appearance on tonight's show, so hopefully, because we don't have a contact number for him, folks, so hopefully we'll be able to get him on tonight's show. If not, then it's going to be a two-man band tonight. Let's get you caught up on what's happening inside the ring right now between WWE Champion CM Punk, as he is taking on John Cena right now. Again, for those of you that do not want to know the results of the main event that's happening right now, go ahead and check back in about 5 minutes, and this match should be concluded. Right now, it's been pretty much a back-and-forth type of match between these two guys. They are really having a field day tonight. It's not quite up to par with what they had did at Money in the Bank last year, but still, it's a great match nonetheless. The crowd is really into it. You can feel their energy right now as we see CM Punk delivering left, right elbow strikes to the face of John Cena. John Cena is following up with strikes of his own. CM Punk Irish whips John Cena to the ropes. Misses Cena. Cena hits him with a clothesline, and he hits him with another clothesline. He's picking him up right now over his back, but Punk was able to counter, pushes him into the ropes, hits him with a jumping heel kick, followed immediately by a clothesline. CM Punk looking for a spinning. Yeah, it looked like he was going for a bulldog, but he pushes John Cena into the corner, hits him with a knee strike, mocking John Cena's trademark, "You can't see me," as he grabs John Cena, and he missed with the bulldog as John Cena was able to counter. John Cena has that open palm in the air. He's thinking about it. Is he going to go for it? He's looking at CM Punk right now, and the "you can't see me," but Punk kicks him with a strong right kick, followed by another right kick to the head of John Cena. Cena is down right now as CM Punk catches a breather. Punk gesturing to the crowd, that's it. It's time. It's time to go to sleep. He's making the gesture right now, and looks like Punk is going to go for it. Let's see what's going to happen here as we have a staggering John Cena that's trying to come to his feet. Can John Cena quickly get back on the rebound before he gets hit with that GTS? If he gets hit with that GTS, that's going to be it, folks. Surely CM Punk will be able to retain the title if he hits that GTS. Let's see what happens here. And no, he wasn't able to connect as Cena was able to counter. Looks like Cena was possibly able to counter with the attitude adjustment, but there is not a referee in sight. The counts are endless right now as the referee is outside of the ring. He is injured. Looks like he got caught in between everything that just transpired here. And our feed is a little bit bad tonight. We got a little bit of a storm over here, so our cable signal is coming and going, but we'll definitely get you all caught up on the very latest that's happening as we see John Cena is looking for a referee. But wait, Big Show, the 7'2", 500-pound monster, has just made his presence felt in this arena, folks, as he just knocked out John Cena. Wait a minute, let's see what's happening here. CM Punk is looking on here as Big Show is waiting for John Cena to get up. And Big Show has that right hand locked and loaded, folks. What could possibly happen here? Could it be? Could it be? And it looks like, yes, Big Show has knocked out John Cena as John Cena is out cold as he falls to the canvas right now. It is looking more than likely that John Cena is going to not be able to win his championship as CM Punk continues to look on in shock at what just happened. Punk, I would not look on in shock, brother. I would go ahead and I would pin that man. Retain your championship. Might be a crappy way to retain it, but hey, all that matters is the win and continuing to be the WWE champion. But wait, CM Punk is not even doing that. CM Punk is going outside of the ring right now, and CM Punk is going for the WWE referee, trying to wake him up, make him come to. He's trying to gesture to the referee to wake up, get up, and he's leaving the ropes now. He is grabbing the referee, putting him inside the ring right now as CM Punk follows up behind him. CM Punk is trying to go for the pin. Let's see what happens here, folks. We got CM Punk trying to go for the pin. We're a couple of seconds behind here. We got a little bit of a bad storm over here, so we apologize for any delay. We have CM Punk. He's continuing to look on at John Cena. CM Punk really is not sure right now. He's thinking about it, but he's not sure. Let's see what happens here. He's still thinking about it. He doesn't want to do it. Let's see what happens here. Hey, this storm is really bad over here right now. Okay, it looks like he went for the pin, but Cena somehow, miraculously, was able to kick out. And the match continues, folks. It definitely looks like we're going to be going into overtime. And now the question remains, what does CM Punk have to do to be able to retain his championship? Big Show just came out, and oh my God, John Cena has just applied the STFU around the neck of CM Punk, and the crowd is just in eruption right now as CM Punk, how is he going to be able to get out of this? As CM Punk, he is fighting, he is grasping for air, he's trying very hard to reach for the ropes, he's trying to break the hold that's being applied, he's trying to break up those hands of John Cena. You know John Cena, he's got those very strong biceps, those arms look like weight. But Big Show has come back into this match. He is making his presence felt as he is fighting John Cena again, delivering a strong headbutt. CM Punk, he's looking on. You know CM Punk has probably had enough. CM Punk looks like he's thinking about attacking the Giant. Let's see what's happening here. Now CM Punk is trying to gather himself as Big Show continues to have his way with the C Nation leader, folks. And Big Show is picking up John Cena right now. Looks like he's thinking about delivering a scoop slam, and he is able to connect with that scoop slam as we still continue to see CM Punk. Yeah, we still continue to see CM Punk just gathering himself. He is not having anything to do, but wait, the great one, The Rock, is coming out right now, and he just took out the Big Show, and it looks like The Rock was getting ready to take out, The Rock was getting ready to take out Big Show, but CM Punk just countered the hell out of The Rock, as The Rock was looking for the people's elbow after he just laid out Big Show. And CM Punk, different demeanor in his eyes right now when you look at the former voice of the voiceless. As we see the people's champion, The Rock, is just laid out right now. And CM Punk, he is gesturing for The Rock to get up. Talk about insult to injury as he is mocking The Rock's rock bottom. Yo, you know it's coming. Come on, Rock, you got to get out of there. No, actually, CM Punk, he's picking up The Rock over his shoulders, and he just delivered the GTS to shock a stunned crowd as they are letting CM Punk have it right now. My God, you want to talk about a moment right here in Raw history. And CM Punk, he is wiping the sweat off of his face as he looks on at everything that he just caused right here. And CM Punk, he grabs his WWE Championship, and he is looking on at The Rock right now, who's laid out. He's looking on John Cena, who's at the other end of the ring, who's laid out right now. And isn't this ironic as co-producer Tammy is quietly entering the studio now? Isn't it ironic how we have two guys that just went head-to-head at this past year's WrestleMania? What was it dubbed? Never before, never again. And we see these two men reunited in the ring on this night, and neither one of them are walking tall, so to speak, as CM Punk leaves the ring with boos from the crowd. Talk about an awesome night right here. I believe that's going to do it for Raw tonight. Let's see what happens here. We just have CM Punk, who's just continuing to walk up to the top of the ramp. We got The Rock that's struggling to get up right now. Rock, I would stay down right now, man. You need to keep yourself together for the next time you got a Hollywood project lined up. And that is going to do it for the 1000th episode of WWE Raw. And, folks, while I give the lovely Tammy enough time to prepare for coming on the air in just a little bit, do want to take this time and hope that you all have had a fantastic weekend. Y'all were able to go out there and get in some pretty good weather. Y'all were able to visit some beaches. Y'all were able to check out some movies that were playing in the theater. And definitely we want to hear from you all and get you all's reaction on how you enjoyed tonight's episode of WWE Raw, as we'll be opening up our phone lines in the later part of the show. So hang tight, and we'll also be giving away some really cool prizes. We got two prizes that are going to be up for grabs tonight, so you definitely want to check that out. So make sure you're by your phone and that you are ready to go. And the number for those of you to call, just in case you want to try to get a little head start, but bear in mind that we're going to be opening up the phone lines a little bit later on in the show, is 646-478-3525. Again, that's 646-478-3525. If you missed that number, don't worry. We'll be having that number plugged once again later on in the show. So right now, I am not sure what is going on with Scooter. We have yet to hear from him, but we're just going to go on ahead and we are going to start on with the show without him. Very unfortunate right here, folks, but it is what it is right now. Let me go on ahead and let me have the lovely co-producer Tammy slide on in right here. Tammy, my dear, are you there?
Yeah, Lee, I'm here.
Wow, what a historic 1,000th episode of Raw, huh?
I would say so. It had a little bit for everybody, but not too many matches tonight, just a lot of celebration.
Yeah, just a lot of celebration, and we'll definitely be talking more about that in just a little bit. I think we have Scooter with us now. Let's see if we got Scooter on the air. Scooter, is that you, bro?
No, this is one of your other callers.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Well, hang on. We won't disconnect you. We'll definitely want to hear from you what you thought about tonight's episode of Raw. So, all right, let's just go on ahead, Tammy. We'll just go on ahead. We'll do the show without Scooter. I'm not sure what's happening, but we'll definitely I'll try to work on it during the commercial breaks. All right, so, Tammy, your signal, you're good over there at your end? Because I know the storm's kind of brewing over here.
No, I'm fine over on this end.
Okay, good. All right. So we want to just take this time out now that WWE Raw has gone off the air. We want to just take the time out to thank those of you that's listening to tonight's episode right now on Blog Talk Radio and over at our sister website at InfinityOneProductions.com. And remember, you can join in on the discussion of tonight's episode as we're going to be talking about tonight's Raw by hitting us up in our chat room as it's active right now, and you can also submit your comments about tonight's episode via Twitter. That's right, we're on Twitter at InfinityOneProd, and we're also on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. Tonight's show is being brought to you by our good friends over at the NWA Promotion. Do hope you all have had the chance to check them out and bookmark them as a favorites, as their website has been coming along very nicely now. If you haven't taken the liberty to hit up NWA, definitely recommend that you do. You can hit them up on Facebook as they're at NWA Championship from Florida. Again, that's on Facebook at NWA Championship from Florida. And while you're at it, hit them up on their website over at NWAFloridaTV.net. Again, that's NWAFloridaTV.net. And hey, when you hit them up on Facebook, let them know Lee sent you, and they'll treat you real good. So, again, we got an awesome show that's going to be planned for tonight. All we're going to be talking about is the 1,000th episode of WWE Raw. And, Tammy, how was your weekend?
Good. I actually took my boyfriend to see The Dark Knight.
And how was that?
Actually, I found it very enjoyable. Had a little bit of everything for everybody. Nice storyline, nice ending. You know, I'm not sure, if anybody really still wants to see it or have plans to go see it this weekend, but definitely an overview. It really kind of encapped everything and kind of brought all the loose ends together, and really just was a great outing and a great thing to see. Definitely monumental because this is Christopher Nolan's last Batman.
Yeah, without a doubt. And for those of you that haven't checked out my review of it, you can definitely check it out right now in between commercials or as you're listening to tonight's episode. Check it out over at InfinityOneProductions.com. I give a very in-depth review of The Dark Knight. I know, Tammy, you had took a read at that as well as a few other people, and y'all had shared your thoughts on that. I definitely had loved that movie, and I don't want to go all into it. I highly recommend y'all go check out that review as I really nailed it down. But, Tammy, just to touch up on a point that you had made, very valid indeed, as without a doubt, it's definitely it for Christopher Nolan. There isn't enough money in the world from Warner Brothers that can have him, Christian Bale, everybody else come back. This is definitely it. And you just want to talk about how humble of a guy Nolan is. He was recently asked in an interview if he had any problems whatsoever with the Batman franchise being rebuilt. And he said, no, not at all. Actually, I would love to be able to just sit back as a moviegoer and see how they would tell a new vision of this legendary comic character. So real classy guy right there. Some people, they may have negative things to say about him because they don't like the fact that the way he approached Batman, it was pretty much okay, well, there is no other heroes that exist. It's just Batman. Some people don't like that approach, but I think the true moviegoers, they can definitely say without a doubt, he hands down breathed new life into the Batman franchise, and it's going to be a tough act to follow because I'm not sure about you, Tammy, but I've been following Batman since the comics, and I've seen all the movie adaptations, the Tim Burton's, the poor Joel Schumacher flicks, and it's going to be a real tough act to follow.
I have to agree with you. To be honest with you, from what I've seen of Christopher Nolan's versions and the saga that he has portrayed for Batman, a really stand-up job.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Warner Brothers, if you're listening, take your time if you're going to rebuild the franchise. I would let Batman sleep for about, I think 5 years should do it before you seriously think about rebooting it again. And, of course, we can't really go into tonight's show without giving our deepest condolences and best wishes to the families, the victims of that tragic shooting that had happened in Aurora, Colorado, where that crazy gunman had took out 12 people. He killed 12 people, injured 58, as there was about over 300 people jam-packed trying to see the Dark Knight movie on Friday night. You have our deepest condolences. That's just really something that's just freaky as hell to hear. And I go into that a little bit more on our new show called Unchained. That is a YouTube exclusive, and y'all definitely will want to check that out, as it really gives me the opportunity to take off the shackles of doing a show on here, because I have to keep it kind of PG-friendly when I'm on the radio here, and I have certain responsibility to sponsors and all that, but when I'm able to do the Unchained show, it's just anything goes. It's just all me. Nobody's affiliated, so I can really speak my mind. I highly recommend that y'all go check out that first installment, as I had said some really interesting things about this gunman. But again, our condolences definitely go out to the victims of the families. Tammy, you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, actually, my condolences certainly go out to the families for such a gruesome and awful thing to happen, at a movie theater when people are trying to have a good time and enjoy themselves. Quite crazy. Crazy.
It is, but hopefully our judicial system, they will get this one right. They've messed some things up in the past. Hopefully they'll get this one right. Let's talk on about some more happy stuff right now. Let's talk about the WWE Raw 1000 episode that just aired. And, Tammy, I must say, even though it didn't have quite that many matches tonight, I was definitely pleased with tonight's episode. And for those of you that may have missed tonight's episode, the first thing I want you to do, I want you to smack yourself across the face, and I want you to ask yourself, why didn't you watch this episode? And then hopefully you'll say to yourself, oh, well, I have it on DVR. I hope that you would have it on DVR and you are going to save it, because this is one for the record books. You'd probably make a killing selling this episode on eBay, as we just saw so many legends return tonight. I mean, Tammy, I felt like the hands of time was turned back, as it just felt like it was the 1980s, mid-1990s all over again. It was a fantastic night. For those of you that were not able to check out tonight's episode, have no fear. We have you caught up right now. We'll hook you up with the results of tonight's episode. So let's go on ahead and let's jump right into it. Now, our reception was a little bit bad over here because of the storm, but Tammy, did you notice offhand if WWE Raw had got a new intro?
No, it was actually the same intro that they normally use, which I found kind of interesting, especially for it being the monumental episode it was. You would have thought they would have done a special intro just for the episode tonight.
Now, I'm hearing, and maybe when we get ready to open up the wrestling fan line, maybe one of our callers can let us know, but I'm actually hearing that the intro was changed.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to check into that because from what I saw over here, it seemed like the same. Okay.
We'll definitely, when we open up the phone lines, for you all that's listening right now, definitely when we open up the phone lines later on in the show, definitely let us know if they had changed the intro. Now, I know that they had got a new Raw logo because we had reported that earlier. And I must say, the new Raw logo, Tammy, I don't know if you had saw it, but the new Raw logo, I'm really feeling it. It kind of has somewhat of a throwback vibe to it almost. How'd you like the new logo?
Yeah, actually, that's what I felt too for the logo. It just really reminded me of a throwback, like you said.
And the 1000th episode of Raw, you want to talk about records that this series has done, as it is the not tied, not just number one period, folks. The number one longest running show in television history. Yeah, I mean, it beats Gunsmoke, it beats Lassie, it beats The Simpsons. It just beats all of those shows put together. That is just really eerie to think about. Hell, it probably even beats Cops. I know they didn't really hype that up, but I'm quite sure it beats Cops as well. And this was a night where we would see the return of DX as Shawn Michaels and Triple H. They kicked things off on Raw, and it was really nice seeing these two guys joke around just like they did in the old times. But then what was really funny, and you knew it was going to happen, we heard the buzz all weekend, there was a promise that all DX members were going to be showing up for tonight's episode. Well, we would get all but one DX member, as we would see X-Pac, Badass Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, Jesse James make their DX return on a classic Jeep that almost looked like the one they were pushing when they went to go invade WCW back in the day. And we would see Shawn Michaels and Billy Gunn. They would have a little bit of playful words as they're trying to figure out between the two of them who's going to say. And if you're not down with that, as Triple H has to play a little bit of quarterback. And great moment right here as we see, of all people to crash the DX reunion, of all the people, we see Damien Sandow, the high intellectual one, interrupt them. Tammy, what was your thoughts when you saw Damien Sandow crash the scene there?
Honestly, it was WTF.
Right, because you knew a beatdown was probably going to be coming, right?
Yeah, but to be honest with you, you have one that's completely different than the other, and just completely, for me, out of the realm of, okay, you're going to bring this person out, but honestly, it worked.
It worked beautifully. I mean, you want to talk about a freaking great rub-off. Of all the people you could have DX rub one off with, I loved how they just put Damien Sandow in there. When I first heard his music and I saw him come out, I'm saying to myself, really, can he really hang with DX here? And he just started cutting them up with his words. And, I mean, he was just handling himself very well. And to see Damien Sandow and that type of a platform, that sends a loud message to the WWE Universe. I looked at that as, okay, WWE, they are really loving this guy. They really trust this guy. They definitely feel the way he's been handling himself thus far, he is definitely ready to take that main spotlight. They just got to keep at him at the rate that they've been going right now. It's been a nice pace. It hasn't felt forced like when Mason Ryan was first surfaced in the WWE and he was just being rammed down our throats and we're like, no, this guy sucks. Send him back to the plant to work out. This guy has just been a all-around great performer, great talker since he's popped up in the WWE. Tammy, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe 3 years from now we don't see Damian Sandow in a segment where some of his catchphrases or he's not up for a category in best new guy on the mic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's definitely proven himself week in and week out of what he can and is doing in the ring and on the mic.
Yeah. I mean, I love that guy, hands down. And if I'm not mistaken, Tammy, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that at least the first, no, not the first, that's got to be what, maybe the fourth time maybe we've seen Damian Sandow pop up on Raw?
That sounds about right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know he's under 10 for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Very interesting right there. I'm telling you folks, mark my words, same time next year, if Sandow continues at the rate that he's been going, Sandow's going to end up being a Raw exclusive. You know how Vince McMahon and crew, you know how they do it. They've done it with Alberto Del Rio. They did it with John Cena. They did it with Rey Mysterio. Anybody that looks like, oh, this guy's going to be really good, they hurry up and yank him from the SmackDown side and they make him exclusive to Raw. Yeah, that kind of hurts SmackDown in the process. But mark my words, we're definitely going to be seeing Damian Sandow exclusive to Raw sometime next year. Now, from there, of course, we got to wrap up this Damian Sandow DX confrontation here as Sandow, he gets in the ring and he pretty much tells them, look, I know you guys are here and it's all of you against one of me, but just enlighten me for a moment as he continues to talk his trash. And Triple H and crew, they get into a little huddle and they start thinking about it. And Damian's trying to figure out just what exactly is it they're saying when Shawn Michaels delivers sweet chin music. A little bit rusty right there. I've seen better sweet chins from Shawn Michaels. This one was a little bit rusty, but hey, it's okay. He hasn't been in the ring in a while. Hey, he's still the man. He's still the heartbreaker, the showstopper, Mr. WrestleMania. I give him all of those titles respectfully, as it would be immediately followed up by Triple H's pedigree to end Damian Sandow. And still to come, folks, we got The Rock, who's going to be addressing the WWE Universe and the WWE title, plus Brock Lesnar will be making an appearance to address whether or not he's going to be taking on Triple H's challenge to go one-on-one at SummerSlam. Now, all throughout the week, we've been hearing what could possibly happen when Brock Lesnar crossed paths with Triple H. And, Tammy, I definitely want to get your take on it as we get ready to talk about that later on in the show. And, of course, folks, it wouldn't be Raw without having the man himself, good old JR, Jim Ross, who is introduced as he's commentating with Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler. As our first match of the night, we would see Rey Mysterio team up with Sin Cara and Sheamus to defeat the team of Chris Jericho, Dolph Ziggler, and Alberto Del Rio. Tabby, I know you were talking a little bit about the pairing of Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara. Were you a little bit surprised that WWE had pulled the trigger so early, or what was your take on that?
Well, I mean, you definitely want to get Mysterio back in, considering this is his first match back in and looking so slim and fit. Sin Cara looked really good as well. I was actually kind of surprised to see all of them in the ring together. But the match was actually very inventive and fun. I actually enjoyed it. I'm not a real big, unfortunately for you, fans of Alberto Del Rio, my personal favorite, he is not.
That's okay. No, let him have it. Be honest. It's not every It's not every week you get to grace us with your lovely voice on the mic. No, speak the truth. I mean, hey, I have been a Alberto Del Rio fan since day one, but this is the only little that I have with Del Rio. My whole thing with Del Rio, he is freaking phenomenal as that character that's in the backstage area, and he's coming out in his nice little awesome suits and his scarf and his cars. Once he gets in the ring, I don't know. It's like, what happened to the guy I just saw? You know?
Well, pretty much after the cars and everything else, which is pretty much hype, he sometimes brings it, and then sometimes he really doesn't.
Hot and cold is where you're getting at.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? I respect that. I agree with you 100%. Sometimes he's hot, sometimes he's cold. I definitely agree with you on that. We saw a little bit more of I guess you could say we saw a little bit more of I don't like you, you don't like me, we got to work together. Oh, man, this sucks, as far as Chris Jericho having to team up with Dolph Ziggler had went. I'm actually surprised that didn't really play out the way it should have played out. But nonetheless, we would see the good guys pick up the win right here. As from there, folks, we would go to Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, as it is the first of many plugs that they're going to be giving during the night as they are introducing this new phenomenon known as Toot, as they're getting WWE fan reactions on different things that's happening during the course of the episode. And Tammy, this is going to be a great in-depth look as we cover it later on in the show, which really brings up a very valid question, and I truly believe that our show is actually the first to address this question. Is WWE relying too much on social media to the point where they could possibly alienate wrestling fans as a result that will tune out the WWE product, or more specifically, tune out WWE Raw? That's going to be a very interesting in-depth look that we'll be covering later on tonight's show. But we would see them share the first go-round of fan reactions from Toot as they're talking about AJ and Daniel Bryan getting married. From there, we see shockingly that Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler introduced Charlie Sheen, who is on Skype, who is going to be offering thoughts on the WWE throughout the night. Tammy, when you first heard this, what was your thoughts?
I was a little bit on the fence about it, to be honest with you, for several reasons. I think that it's a bit, some things that on it, depending on your viewers, some of them that are younger, they're going to be completely into it. The older, the more seasoned WWE fans are going to be a little bit kind of like, not my cup of tea.
I don't know. I would personally, if I was WWE, I would have just went with Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen will see you in court. The agreement was you were supposed to be our social media ambassador on Twitter. That is what we advertised for 2-3 weeks, and then you closed your Twitter account. We didn't agree to Skype. That's not what we agreed to. We agreed to Twitter. And I just think that this consolation prize of Charlie Sheen on Skype, it really doesn't do justice. I don't know, maybe our wrestling fans, they might feel a little bit differently with regards to that, but personally, I always felt that they should have never touched Charlie Sheen in the first place. He is a freaking loose cannon. And, I just felt so bad as I was watching this guy throughout the night. I'm saying to myself, I was actually literally begging at the TV every time I heard Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler say, oh, we're going to go to Charlie Sheen now to get his reactions. And I'm thinking to myself, I know that's not how Jerry Lawler sounds, but for some reason, whenever I picture Jerry Lawler, I just have him sounding like a goofy person. That's just how he sounds. Ooh, puppies, But I'm saying to myself, please don't show Charlie Sheen because he looks so sick. He looks so frail. He looks like he's about to collapse any minute. I mean, if I were to compare the way he looked to a character in a movie, this may go over a lot of you all wrestling fans' heads, but for those of you that are around our age, if you're 30 plus, then you'll know the movie that we're talking about. He reminded me of Tom Hanks' character in Philadelphia. Remember towards the end, and Tom Hanks' character was really sick with the AIDS virus, and he was like, he literally passed out in the courtroom.
Yeah, ouchly, but very true. Actually, I can see your point.
You know, I'm not trying to be spiteful. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being really honest. Charlie Sheen looks very sick.
He does.
He just looks very sick. I wouldn't have had him. The whole Twitter thing was better, you know. But, again, you brought up a good point because it's like we're going to have the little kids. They're going to be like, Mommy, who's Charlie Sheen? Who's Charlie Sheen? And then they're going to go look all this stuff up, and, you know, they're going to be like, oh, Mommy, what's winning? Mommy, what's this about him banging the hell out of broads all day long? You know, those little kids need to be exposed to that is where I'm getting at. So I just think that their choosing of him was, you know, they could have went with somebody better. If I had to recommend a bad boy, and again, it brings up a very interesting topic. How come they couldn't get, I don't know, you're telling me they couldn't get somebody from The Dark Knight Rises?
Maybe.
You know, they couldn't get somebody that's getting ready to have a hit movie coming out. They couldn't get Colin Farrell. They couldn't get one of the Breaking Bad guys. I mean, that's the only guy that they could go with.
Good point.
You know, but moving right along, folks, we got AJ and Daniel Bryan as we're giving a recap of their sudden fiasco that went down in the ring last week where Daniel Bryan proposes to AJ, and shockingly, we find out that AJ and Daniel Bryan 7 days later tonight are going to be tying the knot. OMG WTF. As from there, we see a backstage segment now as AJ Lee is just basking and glowing as she can't wait to be married to Daniel Bryan, as Layla questions AJ if she really wants to go through with this. Well, AJ talks about how she is not unstable and that she wishes people would stop saying that, as she feels there's an entire locker room that's full of people that are unstable. And from there, she opens the door, and we see Hacksaw Jim Duggan. We see R-Truth and Roddy Piper playing jump rope with Little Jimmy. That was a freaking hilarious moment right there. Followed by Mae Young, who gave birth to a hand. I am just still warped out thinking about that moment. I actually remember watching that episode of Raw from its entirety where that slimy piece of hand came out of her, woo-woo, and the hand is all grown up now. Very disturbing moment right there. I can't even believe that they actually brought that back right there. Tammy, I know you said, what the hell, when you saw that.
Yes, it was kind of like, okay, really? Is that what this show's about tonight? I mean, I pretty much figured, okay, so what else are they going to bring around the locker room? Because, I mean, they're certainly proving their point, or at least AJ was proving her point to say, okay, you know what? You think I'm crazy? Let's look out the door.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of nuts running around in that backstage segment. And, folks, for those of you that were kind of puzzled as far as, well, wait a minute, who was missing from the DX reunion? Well, don't worry. We'll get you caught up when we do the overall review, as honestly, as me and Tammy were watching this episode tonight, we noticed that there were quite a few people that were missing from this historic episode, and there was one very obvious superstar who was missing from tonight's episode, and we'll definitely talk about that a little bit more later. But from there, folks, we would see Brodus Clay, who comes out sporting a red, white, and blue attire, and as one of our followers said on Twitter, how come Brodus Clay looks like a big old roll of toilet paper? Ouch! That's just so wrong, as we would see Brodus Clay introduce Mick Foley, a.k.a. Dude Love. That's right, the hardcore legend of all the gimmicks that he is bringing us tonight. This would be the one gimmick that he would bring, as it's Dude Love that's making a cameo appearance. As Brodus Clay, he defeated Jack Swagger. My God, Tammy, I blinked and the match was over. I mean, literally, folks, I blinked. The match was over. I am estimating it was probably 7 seconds long. Tammy, I know you were kind of, what the hell did we just see here?
Pretty much if you blinked, you missed it. I mean, it was just so short. It really was not the match that you would be expecting for a 1000th episode of Raw. It was something to, okay, well, we're going to put on a match, so why not? But let's not take too much time doing it. I mean, you know, this can't be a wrestling show, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have you know what? I don't have a problem with Jack Swagger losing. I just wish that a little bit more time could have been added on, and it conflicts with what we've seen of Brodus Clay in recent weeks, who finally had got his first defeat handed to him, courtesy of the Big Show. Then we see him in longer matches where, in my honest eyes, it was really starting to look like he was able to handle himself, that he could go longer than 3 minutes. So I was really looking forward to seeing these two get it on, especially after just the week prior, Jack Swagger had a phenomenal match with Ryback. Actually, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. He had a fantastic match with Ryback, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, maybe this guy kind of has a little bit of a positive momentum swing going. Maybe he can get back on top, and we just see this guy get buried. It was just really, hey, I don't know if, you know, I couldn't beat Jack Swagger, because if I was Jack Swagger, if I had that height and I knew how to wrestle like that, I would be trying to talk to WWE about repackaging myself to be a silent wrestler. Just basically go out there, get the job done, bump all the catchphrases, all that, because you know, Tammy, what's hurting him right now, it's that doggone suffering succotash. That's what's hurting him right now. Tammy, you still there? Well, I don't know where Tammy is right now. Maybe she has a bad reception. Anyway, folks, let's keep the ball rolling right here, as from there, we have, what heck came up on the card next? Turns out we see a backstage segment now where Trish Stratus is helping out Triple H. Oh, man, this was shades of something that I recall seeing years back. I believe it was on an episode of SmackDown where Stephanie had walked in on Triple H behind Trish Stratus in a thrust type of position, while really he was just trying to help her stretch out or whatever. And Stephanie swore that there was something going on between Triple H and Trish Stratus. Well, some years have passed. Trish Stratus, former WWE Women's Champion, she's no longer pushing the blonde look. She is pushing that brunette look, and she is pushing it oh so well, as she's trying to convince Triple H that yoga is good for him, that it's good for the mind, it's good for the body. But Triple H feels a little bit awkward as Trish tells him, no, come on, you can do this. And she has him bend over as she gets behind him and is trying to apply more pressure by grabbing his arm. And it just looks very awkward. It was classic 1990s right here, as we would see his fellow DX members poke fun at him and say to him, well, we'll meet you by the back door, by the back rear. As from there, we see another backstage segment now where it looks like Daniel Bryan is having a conversation with some guys that appear to be wearing patient uniforms. Look like they might have escaped from a nut house or something. Not really sure what's going on with that, but more on that to come, as it's revealed that WWE has a poll up asking the WWE Universe, should AJ say I do or I don't, as results are going to be coming up later in the show. From there, folks, it is wedding time right now, as we are introduced to Slick. And I must admit, as much of a old school wrestling fan that I am, when I first heard this guy Slick, I'm scratching my head and I'm honestly saying to myself, I am not sure who this guy is. Tammy, did you know who the hell this guy was? And lovely Tammy, I still can't hear you. Let me make sure that you're actually on the air, my dear. Oops, it would probably help. Try that again. Try that again.
Can you hear me now, Lee?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, wonderful. Well, anyway, like I was saying, it certainly looked like some kind of a homeless Riddick Bowe with no teeth. No offense.
That is
but
cool.
To me, couldn't they have found somebody better?
Well, I must admit, and as much of a big wrestling fan I am, especially from the 80s, I was honestly scratching my head, and I'm saying to myself, Slick, Slick, Slick. And I'm that type of wrestling fan. If I don't know something, I look it up. So I'm like, okay, who is this Slick guy? Maybe my memory can be refreshed. Now, for those of you that did not sit up and try to find out who this guy was, we got your 411. Now, this guy, in a nutshell, he was the first African-American manager, and his real name is Kenneth Johnson. Now, but he's better known as Slick, the Doctor of Style. And again, he was the first wrestling manager for the WWF. And he also had, let me see who he managed. He was right around the time of Classy, Freddie Blassie. He was right around that era, folks. And some of the people that he's managed was Akeem of the One Man Gang. He managed Kamala briefly. He managed Rick Martel. He managed Zeus. He managed Iron Sheik, Hercules Hernandez, Bulldog Bob Brown. So that kind of gives you an idea of just some of the people that he had managed. But, man, this is one of those type of deals where if you don't do enough plugging, not that many people are going to really know who the heck this guy is, unfortunately. And as I saw this guy coming out, Tammy, I'm saying to myself, well, maybe he's from St. Louis. Maybe that's why this guy is coming out. I mean, that would make a little sense, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess you could say that, but I still think they could have found somebody better.
Well, see, this is the point that I'm making. I'm thinking now, this is before I look him up, I'm thinking maybe this guy is from the St. Louis area where the 1000th episode of Raw took place tonight. No, the guy is from freaking Texas.
Okay.
Okay, so this just really, without the proper hype, it just really, I'm sorry, but this was just it just went over a lot of people's heads right here. Poor execution right here. Personally, they should have went with Paul Bearer to marry Daniel Bryan and AJ. I mean, can you just picture Paul Heyman trying to give a wedding reception? Do you, Daniel Bryan? Oh, yes! I know some of our listeners that's hearing this right now, they're probably saying, Lee, you do that a little too well, man. No comment right there. All right, let's move right along, folks. We're just having fun over here. Let's move right on along. We see Daniel and AJ, they're in the ring as Reverend Slick. He is getting to the part where they're telling their vows, saying their I do's, whatnot. Daniel Bryan, he tells AJ that the vows that they make of their love, that no matter what, once they're married, a new chapter will begin for both of them, and that after he puts the ring on her finger, he will have everything he's ever wanted. Well, Reverend Slick, he gets to the part of the yeses. Daniel, he says yes. AJ, she screams yes, 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 and we're thinking this is it, as the Reverend is about to make it official when sweet little AJ interrupts and she says, I'm saying yes to another man. There is another man who made a proposal earlier tonight. And the music of the WWE chairman Vince McMahon would come on, and we're all saying to ourselves, oh, snap, let's find out Vince McMahon is rocking the Cradle of Love, little Billy Idol right there for you guys that don't know. Well, that wouldn't be the case. As Mr. McMahon would tell Bryan, it's not that kind of proposal, as Vince McMahon reveals the new general manager of Monday Night Raw to be, drumroll please, and Tammy, you still owe me that drumroll soundbite. I'm going to get you good. It would turn out to be AJ to be the new general manager for Raw and SmackDown, as Daniel Bryan just stands in shock as AJ leaves the ring skipping. I'm sure that this stunned the hell out of a lot of our fans. One of our followers by the name of Gabrielle, she sat up and said, this has to be probably one of the worst moments of Raw history by naming her general manager. Tammy, as a female, how do you feel based off what Gabrielle said? Follow up on that. What's your thoughts on that shocking announcement?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, as a female, certainly props to her, but, you know, I mean, no, she's white hot right now, or at least to some people. Some people are already tired of her. It's good, but honestly, they could have picked so many other people that could have done so much more with it. I mean, the angle that she's going is nice, but not for a general manager, because she's already loopy as it is. So what's to say she's not booking crazy matches? And, you know, I just don't feel that that was the best choice at all. You know, grant you, she's doing her thing in the ring, but not as a general manager. I don't agree with that decision at all.
I don't agree with that either. I mean, it's very disturbing when you think about it because, and folks, we are definite AJ fans. I am a huge AJ fan. I think that she is just a little cute, little tiny little thing. I love her to death. I just question if this is the right move. Now, a lot of us, and I mean there were a ton of us that were under the impression that maybe, just maybe, Ric Flair was possibly going to be named as the new Raw SmackDown GM, that possibly Edge was going to be named the Raw and SmackDown GM. Edge would have made perfect freaking sense. He had that untimely series of injuries. As a result, he had to retire early. That would have made a whole ton of sense, as he still could have been a tremendous help to the young talent backstage, still be a in-ring general, so to speak, teaching them the ropes, helping them perfect their craft. That would have been a perfect scenario, but they're going with AJ. I can understand where Vince McMahon and crew are coming from. As you said, Tammy, just to touch up on what you said, AJ is just white freaking hot right now. She is the hottest thing going on in the entire Divas division right now. I mean, she surpassed, and Tammy, you and I, we've talked about this for weeks, she surpassed Eve, who has been month after month trying to get to that position where she could finally be given the ball, and she was finally put in that right type of storyline, and she was able to run with it. But now we got Eve that's like literally been pushed to the side, as she was the executive assistant to John Laurinaitis, and we see AJ is the new Raw GM. Yeah, she's white hot, but can she continue to be white hot? That's really pushing it.
Mhm. That's absolutely the question. Can she continue to be that white hot as upper management, as that general manager of Raw? You know, only time will tell if that's going to be the case.
Well, I tell you what, we recently have found out that WWE Champion CM Punk and John Cena, they've been going out of their way within recent weeks to really teach her, because they feel that she really understands the business and that she is just a big old sponge right now. She's trying to absorb as much as she can about the business. If I were a betting man, it wouldn't surprise me if John Cena, CM Punk, if they both went to Vince and they said, look, if this is the direction you're thinking about going with AJ, we support it. You have our support. We feel that she can definitely handle it. I'm quite sure that this move would not have been done without going to the big main stars for the company. So I'm looking forward to see how AJ can do in this new role, and hopefully she can prove the naysayers wrong that feel as though this was a bad move. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's a bad move. I'm a little bit puzzled. But at the same time, I like when we get curveballs like this because, Tammy, I'm quite sure you were probably expecting Edge or somebody, a male WWE wrestler that we haven't seen in a while, that we haven't thought about in a while, make their return.
Well, I mean, actually another name that comes to mind, that I know he wants to get back into it, but what about Stone Cold? Now, wouldn't that be interesting?
And it's very funny that you mention Stone Cold's name because we definitely need to say something about Stone Cold, and that's going to be coming up in just a little bit, folks. Let's move on now. As from there, folks, we would see our next, actually it's following up on Daniel Bryan, as Daniel Bryan is just still traumatized in the backstage area, in the ring area rather, as he can't believe that AJ is the new GM. And it just brings an interesting question to mind. Who the hell were those guys that Daniel Bryan was talking to? And as soon as I briefly saw these guys in that backstage segment earlier, I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is one of those power of authority type of deals. He was probably going to marry AJ and send her to the psych ward because that's something that you can do if you're married to another person. If you find that they are mentally not stable, you can actually have them committed. So I'm thinking maybe this is something that Daniel Bryan was trying to do to AJ. Well, we wouldn't know, as Daniel Bryan, he's just in the ring with his temper tantrum as WWE Champion. CM Punk comes out and he tells Bryan, hey, I don't mean to come out, rub it in your face, but you did get left at the altar, as he would then point out how Bryan is throwing a temper tantrum, and Punk, in the meantime, he's continuing to be the best in the world, and this will prompt Bryan to tell him that he's not the best in the world, as he feels he's the best WWE superstar of all time, the greatest of all time, as he would be interrupted by the true greatest of all time, or at least one of the greats, the Brahma Bull himself, the People's Champion, The Rock, who made his triumphant return to Raw tonight. And what a great rub-off between all three of these men, as we have The Rock in the ring with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. The chemistry, Tammy, between The Rock and Daniel Bryan, as The Rock tells Bryan that, no, he doesn't decide who's the greatest of all time. It's the people who get to decide who's the best of all time. And The Rock finally opens up his return with, finally, The Rock has returned, as Daniel Bryan cuts him off. The Rock, classic Rock, lets him have it, says, hey, Goatface, you don't interrupt The Rock, and he just quickly starts putting down Daniel Bryan, as he calls him all kinds of dirty names in the book, Hoopaloo, Frodo from Lord of the Rings. I mean, The Rock was just really going all out there, but at the same time would get very serious and point out how in St. Louis it's very special for The Rock, as he won his first WWE Championship there. And what better place, as The Rock had been teasing an announcement concerning the WWE title throughout the night, as he would reveal at next year's Royal Rumble that's going to be coming January 27th of next year from the U.S. Airways Center in Phoenix, Arizona. whoever will be holding the WWE Championship will have to go one-on-one at the Great One. CM Punk, he tells The Rock that as far as who's going to be the champion come Royal Rumble, it will be him, as he feels confident that tonight he'll beat Cena in the main event, as he promises to not only end Cena, but beat The Rock at the Royal Rumble. And The Rock, he would one more time recollect how he won his first WWE title and promises CM Punk that he will be the next WWE champion. As Daniel Bryan, he injects himself into the mix, letting it be known that this night is supposed to be about him and the greatest moment of his life. But The Rock, he would soon let Daniel Bryan have it, as he says, look, sorry about what happened to your wedding, but The Rock got a little present for you, as he would deliver a rock bottom to Daniel Bryan, as Rock would leave the ring staring down CM Punk. Tammy, what was your thoughts on this classic trio of men in the ring just oozing of chemistry?
Actually, probably the best chemistry of the night for me, as anytime The Rock comes to the WWE for however long it is. For me, I enjoy it because I love The Rock. But the chemistry between all three was awesome. I found it especially humorous that they gave him a present, which was somewhat not a present, but actually I found it hilarious. And I found it as great for CM Punk to stand up for himself and say, look, you know, whatever you feel, I'm sorry, and I'm here to tell you that that is definitely not the case. I'm definitely going to retain my title and see you for that match with you at the next, that pay-per-view.
Royal Rumble, yeah.
Royal Rumble, sorry, escaped my mind.
No, you're okay. You know, the thing that kind of jumped out at me, though, was, and I don't know, maybe it was just me, maybe some of the WWE audience as well, what should have really been CM Punk's moment, and we're not done talking about CM Punk, because remember, he has that main event match later tonight, but for this particular segment, CM Punk kind of seemed a little bit lost in the wind, so to speak, because it was really, to me, Bryan and The Rock. I mean, those two guys were really bringing it, and it almost got to the point where I kind of had to remember CM Punk as the champion. I mean, I don't know, did you pick up that same vibe too?
I did, actually. I did pick up that same vibe and actually feel pretty much the same way you felt about that particular thing as far as CM Punk goes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a weird moment right there, but CM Punk fans, don't feel down, because this night, in case you didn't listen to the very beginning of the show, it would end in a little bit of controversy, as we're not going to be only mentioning CM Punk this time around, as we'll be bringing up his name again. But from there, folks, let's move on to the rest of the festivities that had took place on tonight's episode, as from there, Michael Cole, he reveals another toot video that was loaded up to WWE earlier in the day that shows Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar talking backstage as both men. They are in the arena, and Brock Lesnar is scheduled to appear to possibly accept Triple H's SummerSlam challenge. That would be followed up by a Twitter poll that's now up asking who would the WWE Universe like to see go against The Rock at the Royal Rumble. Your options are CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, or Big Show, and the results will be revealed for that later on during the night. From there, we would get the appearance of WWE Hall of Famer, the best there is, the best there was, and the best there will be, Bret Hitman Hart, who introduces the Intercontinental Championship match participants, as Christian will be defending it against The Miz. Well, shockingly, Miz has only been back 2 weeks, and he would become the new Intercontinental Champion. Tammy, your thoughts on The Miz becoming the Intercontinental Champion?
I think on The Miz, you know, the I Am Awesome is wearing off for me a little bit. Definitely still a good Intercontinental champion. Interesting to take it right away from Christian with him having it for 2 weeks. Maybe not even that.
A little longer. No, he had a little longer.
Oh, okay.
He made it like almost 2. I think he almost made it like 2 months, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, about 2 months. You know, I guess, you know, it's funny to see The Miz, you know, a year and a half ago to when he was WWE Champion, to see him now. It's almost two totally different people.
It really is, yeah. It really is. It's one of those type of deals where, I don't know, I kind of look at him winning the Intercontinental Championship as maybe a sign that he's possibly back on good graces with the WWE. I would hope so, because he was just so phenomenal last year. And we know that he's been gone in recent months to film the new Marine movie that should be coming out within the next 2 to 3 months, I would think, because the production is now over. You know, he's got that new look that's going on. He looks like he's got a little bit of stubble in there on his face. He's got the cool little hair going on. Let's see how The Miz does this time around. I definitely will be rooting for him each week, as I definitely feel he is one of those guys that definitely deserves to be elevated, because he is one of those guys right up there with Dolph Ziggler, Cody Rhodes, that definitely needs to be pushed. As post-match, we would see Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler interact with Charlie Sheen, and they get his thoughts on how he's been enjoying Raw so far, as he gives a cheap plug for his new FX series, Anger Management. And for those of you that might have been keeping track, at this point, we've only had about 15 minutes worth of matches. And we have about only, I believe, 2 matches left. As from there, folks, we have Triple H come out, and he calls out Brock Lesnar. Instead, he gets Paul Heyman, Triple H. I love it when these two guys throw it down in the middle of the ring. As Paul Heyman, he informs Triple H that he's been authorized to speak on Lesnar's behalf, and that basically the answer is still no. Lesnar will not accept Triple H's challenge to go one-on-one main eventing at SummerSlam. Triple H tries to play the coward route. Heyman sees this, and he says, hey, I know where you're going with that. You're acting like a little kid. I'm not having that. You know, is this the type of game that you play on your kids? And touchy words right there, as Triple H tells Paul Heyman, don't say anything about my kids. You keep them out of this. Don't talk about my family. Paul Heyman, he would apologize humbly, but then say, I feel sorry for your kids because they have to deal with such a parent such as you. And this would prompt the lovely Stephanie McMahon to return. And, man, she has not aged worth a damn. She looks practically just like how I remember her 10 years ago. I mean, Father Time has been very nice to her. Nice, lovely shape as she comes out, and she lets Paul Heyman have it, Tammy. I mean, Stephanie really hit close to home. You just have to wonder how much of what she said, how much of what Triple H has been saying in recent weeks is the truth about how they really feel about Paul Heyman, because Stephanie McMahon, she really brought it home, folks. She would call how Paul Heyman is nothing more than a failure, that he couldn't keep ECW going as a businessman, and she would just literally butcher the hell out of Paul Heyman, and also point out that, hey, her kids are proud of their father and grandfather as they look up to them, and that Paul Heyman, his kids, they're going to be ashamed of him because he's nothing more than a professional parasite. And, man, Stephanie would follow this up by a slap to Paul Heyman that just sends him out of the ring So furious, so mad. Heyman gets back in there. He says, okay, you want a match, Triple H? You want your career to end? You want Brock Lesnar to make you retire? Fine, the match is on. You got it at SummerSlam. Only after then does Paul Heyman catch himself and realizes that he made a mistake as Stephanie pushed his buttons, and he gave her props. He said, Stephanie, you always know how to push the right buttons on me. You always know how to get your way. It's always been like that for you and you McMahons. It's just so sick how you all operate. Is this what you're going to be teaching your kids? And Tammy, I was just amazed at this because you would think it would be Triple H that would be throwing it down, but remember he has the lawsuits, 2 lawsuits counted, that's coming at him from Lesnar and Heyman. It would actually be Stephanie that was just continuing to assault the hell out of Paul Heyman as the music of Brock Lesnar hits and Heyman leaves the ring. Triple H, he's trying to hurry up and get Stephanie out the ring. As from there, the 2 of them, they would sit up and they would brawl. Triple H, he's looking better than ever. It looks like he's trimmed down a little bit, getting a little bit more defined as he would send Brock Lesnar out of the ring. As the 2 of them are just looking on, when it's all said and done, dust has settled. Our main SummerSlam event is set. Brock Lesnar taking on Triple H. Tammy, your thoughts?
Well, maybe kind of like you said, with having the lawsuit and Triple H didn't want to push too many buttons, didn't want to say anything that would really get him in trouble. But I think it might have been the case of where Stephanie could really push those buttons to get that match to where he would say yes to getting that match, because it didn't seem like either tonight or even in the times prior that he was getting enough of pushing his buttons to get that match. But I tell you what, she certainly gave it to him and got exactly what she wanted and took no prisoners in basically saying, okay, you know what, you want to fight? I'm ready for you. Come on, bring it.
Indeed. I was very into that segment right there. You know what was so awesome about that match? The beauty of the minds that were in that ring all at the same time. All of them, no matter how controversial, no matter what dirt you might be able to dig up on all of them, just all of those minds to be in that ring at the same time, it was just freaking awesome. I loved all of those guys' chemistry in that ring. I mean, you already know Stephanie can bring it. She's proven time and time again that she, out of all the McMahons, and that says a lot because you would think maybe Shane, but Shane is just flashy when it comes to the moves. Stephanie is literally, and she proved it tonight, she is just like her father. I mean, she really has that persona that, it don't matter how long Stephanie is gone from the WWE ring or what you don't know that's happening with her behind the scenes. No matter how long she is gone, when she steps foot in that arena, doesn't matter what city, what country, everybody knows who she is, just like Vince. Then you throw Paul Heyman in there, and then you got Triple H in there. I mean, my God, that is just, you can't go wrong. Probably the only thing that was missing from that was maybe Vince McMahon, but I think that would have been a little bit overkill, honestly, but really great segment right there. But we got our main event for SummerSlam set for tonight. This should be good to go right here. I'm definitely looking forward to this. Of course, this comes without a little bit of, we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Let's move on with the rest of the match card for tonight, folks. As from there, we would see, I believe it was, more Toot reactions. It's becoming a trend now here, as the fans are sharing their reactions of the night so far, as Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler, they reveal a Twitter poll that they had up asking the WWE Universe which
team they thought would be the ultimate tag team for the WWE 13 video game. And the winners was Stone Cold Steve Austin and John Cena. Now, WWE 13 is going to be coming out for PS3, Xbox 360. I would assume it's probably going to be coming out for the Wii. I don't know. That's sad, too, because we have a Wii that's just been collecting dust for I don't know how many months now. But it's going to be coming out on October 30th, just to give you guys a heads up, because I'm actually a little bit surprised that WWE did not cover it more on tonight's episode, since they were just plugging all kinds of stuff. But in case you did not hear it, WWE 13, they are going to be releasing a Austin 316 Collector's Edition of WWE 13. Now, this is only going to be available by pre-order for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 in North America. Now, also, those pre-orders for the PS3 in North America will include a Disc 3 of Stone Cold Steve Austin, the bottom line on the most popular superstar of all time. So you'll get the story part. And I actually had finally just watched that over the weekend, and that was really a phenomenal story. You'll definitely love it. To date, it was probably one of the best wrestling documentary pieces I saw off of a first disc. You can't go wrong. 2 hours, 31 minutes of Stone Cold story. Oh, you'll definitely will love that for you PS3 guys. Now, in contrast to that, there will also be a little bit of a bonus for the Xbox 360 version, as it'll have a Disc 4, which will be a pre-order for both systems. Now, you'll be able to get a Stone Cold Steve Austin foil card that will be signed by Stone Cold himself. You'll also be able to get some exclusive in-game downloadable content. So definitely check that out when you get a chance. It should be available at GameStop, I would think. But definitely check it out at your local video game retailers. Tammy, that's how you put a plug out there for WWE 13.
Yeah, no doubt, Lee. I wonder if we shouldn't take some callers. Seems like a couple of our people are itching to get on the phone to tell us how they enjoyed the 1000th episode of Raw.
Well, we're definitely going to get to it, but we still got a couple of more matches to go. We got at least, 2 more matches we got to cover?
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, we keep cool.
Just trying to help them out.
Well, call us. Keep cool, daddy-os. Keep cool. We're going to take your calls. Let's see if we can blaze through the rest of this in great glory, all right? Let's go right through it. So what else did we have for tonight, Tammy? We had Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler. They're continuing to plug the whole merchandise stuff. Fourth match, we saw Heath Slater, who called out anybody from the WWE locker room to take him on in a no disqualification match. Well, we would see former WWE Women's Champion Lita pop up, and Heath Slater, he's not trying to have anything to do with her, but instead he says, okay, match on. As from there, Lita reveals that she actually hired a little bit of help, bodyguards, if you will. We saw the return of the APA, that's right, Farouk and Bradshaw, as Heath Slater, he quickly tried to leave the ring, and no, he would be stopped by all of the WWE legends that he has come across within recent weeks. Sergeant Slaughter, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Roddy Piper, Vader, Psycho Sid. I know I am forgetting more names. There were just so many freaking legends that were out there. It was freaking ridiculous. But they all sat up. They made sure that he got back in that ring, folks, where he proceeded to get a serious beatdown as Lita hit her trademark twist of fate, followed up immediately by JBL's clothesline from hell. Lita would follow that up with a moonsault to defeat Heath Slater. Definitely love the way this had paid off at the end of the night. Very nice how they kept telling the story week after week of Heath Slater getting beat by WWE legends. What a great bookend to that as it concluded on the 1000th episode of Raw. From there, folks, we see Michael Cole, who is with Alex Guerrero, who apparently is the winner of the 1000th episode of Raw. Apparently he won some tickets for being the 1 millionth follower on, I think it was Facebook or maybe Twitter. I believe it was Facebook. I'm not really sure. Awkward little moment right there. From there, folks, of course, we wouldn't be Raw without seeing a cameo appearance by Mean Gene Okerlund, who was in a very interesting backstage segment with Zack Ryder and John Cena, as Zack Ryder figures that it was Mean Gene who was behind GTV, and Gene Okerlund will point out to him, no, I wasn't even employed in WWE at the time, so no, it wasn't me. Really great moment right here that we definitely cannot skip over, as we would see The Rock come face-to-face with John Cena. This is the first time that the two men have crossed paths since this past year's WrestleMania, as The Rock, he tells John Cena, hey, it's been a while. How you been? Cena's like, hey, been okay. Hey, I happen to hear that you're going to be facing the WWE Champion at the Royal Rumble next year. Well, I just happen to have this Money in the Bank briefcase right here, and I'll be cashing it in tonight to become the new WWE Champion. Cena tells Rock that he will no doubt see him at January's Royal Rumble. This would prompt The Rock to look at Cena for a few seconds and actually say to him, well, I would actually look forward to seeing that, and wished him the best of luck. From there, we would see Kane in action, as it looks like he's about to get ganged up by Jinder Mahal, Kurt Hawkins, Hunico, Camacho, Drew McIntyre, and Tyler Rex, when The Undertaker would make his long-awaited return, as he came to help his little brother Kane, as the Brothers of Destruction reunited. And Tammy, they cleaned freaking house right there. I know you were a little bit puzzled when you saw The Undertaker, because his appearance kind of switched it up on you. I take it you had forgot how he had looked last we saw him.
Yeah, it was a completely different look for The Undertaker than what I remember from WrestleMania, but you know what? It still looked like The Undertaker and certainly still wrestled like The Undertaker.
Yeah, he was looking pretty good. It's going to take me a while to get used to that new mohawk, but I'm really happy that he was able to pop up right there. From there, folks, our next moment, we would see Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler get reaction from Charlie Sheen, as apparently earlier Daniel Bryan in a backstage segment with WWE Backstage Classic announcer Sean Mooney had got some words from him where Charlie Sheen had threw a few insults out there at Daniel Bryan, calling him goat face and all that. And this would basically prompt Daniel Bryan to say, hey, if I ever come across Charlie Sheen, I'll basically put him in a yes lock. I'll make him tap. I'll put him in it so fast, it's going to be faster than his winning catchphrase. Well, just to follow up on that, Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, they would get reaction from Charlie Sheen about those comments, and Charlie Sheen would say that, hey, Daniel Bryan, I'm not a hard man to find. Just come to L.A., we can get it on. You can come to my home, or we can meet wherever, as it appears that a challenge, Tammy, has been put out. Now, keep in mind, the next time that WWE will be coming to Los Angeles, get this, just a couple of weeks, August 19th for SummerSlam. Tammy, your thoughts on a possible gimmick match where we could see Charlie Sheen take on Daniel Bryan?
Well, Lee, I'm not sure he would last the whole match. And to be perfectly honest with you, he also, honestly looks a little bit too frail to actually stand toe-to-toe with any of the wrestlers in the WWE. And then, but what an interesting gimmick, as you said. And I guess considering Charlie Sheen being the person that he is in the spotlight, not a bad way to bring some extra viewers in for that.
Yeah, and I mean, we just touched up on Charlie Sheen earlier in the show. I'm just going to say this in a nutshell, and we'll definitely go more in depth maybe next week on the Tuesday night edition of the Rcwr Show when we go back to our regular time. But talk about a way of Charlie Sheen to making it up to WWE for not being able to be the social media ambassador on Twitter, where a lot more audience, a lot more fan bases could have been covered. This could really be a kiss and make up if they actually go through with this. So I'm definitely going to be paying attention to this one very closely. We all probably don't want to see this happen, but if this is the agreement that, they came up with, it's very well possible we could possibly see our boy Daniel Bryan lose to Charlie Sheen. I know a lot of hardcore Daniel Bryan fans, especially those of you that go back to the Ring of Honor wrestling days. I know that y'all probably don't want to see that happen to your beloved Daniel Bryan, but if this is what's going to be part of Charlie Sheen making it up to the WWE, it could very well happen, folks. Let's go on now to our main event, and this is it, folks. We had CM Punk take on John Cena for the WWE Championship. Let's just cut through all the red tape. You knew something weird was going to happen. The question was what? What exactly was going to go down? We would see Big Show, who was not anywhere to be seen throughout the night. Well, he would make his presence known at the end of this match almost, as he would get in this ring and he would just go physical on John Cena, as CM Punk, he's just looking on, and Big Show is just having his way with the C-Nation leader. Now, at one point during this match, after Big Show, he takes out John Cena the first time around, Big Show, he leaves the ring. He's not even attacking CM Punk. At this point, it's safe to say, Big Show is just so sick and tired of John Cena, he just refuses to see him become the WWE Champion before he has his shot. So we see Big Show leave out the ring. CM Punk, he realizes that he needs a referee. The referee, unfortunately, he got taken out of the equation some point during the contest. So CM Punk, he gets out the ring. He grabs the ref, tries to put him back into the ring, goes for the cover, only gets a near fall. The two, they're going at it again. Big Show realizing that, oh, man, I need to do another job on Cena. He gets back in there. He goes to work on Cena some more, as CM Punk is just looking on. But wait, who would come to the aid of John Cena, realizing that Cena needs a little bit of help? It would be no other than The Rock, of all people, who would come down to the ring. And he was having his way with the Big Show as he laid him out, and he was getting ready to hit Big Show with the people's elbow when CM Punk caught him midair, laid him out. So we got Big Show, who's laid out. He quietly rolls out the ring, and we just have John Cena and The Rock, our WrestleMania guys that faced one another at this past year's WrestleMania. Never before, never again, as it was dubbed, as we finally see these two men in the middle of the ring once again since WrestleMania, laid out by CM Punk, who received quite a few bit of boos to end this historic episode of WWE Raw. Tammy, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, it was definitely an interesting match to have Big Show and The Rock certainly make their presence felt within that match. I felt it added some mystique to the end of the show, and definitely to, have it continue going on to the next episode of Raw, and make it to go forward. And very interesting to see him leave the ring and just take his belt and just split.
Very interesting night right here. Great episode of Raw. I must admit, for a first 3-hour installment, they delivered. I mean, there might have not been that many matches. I kind of felt a little disappointed, but it was a celebration night. Let's see how they do it next week now that they've gotten the celebration out of their system. Definitely a very great episode. despite the lack of matches, I loved everything that was happening, all the storylines that were developing here. 10 out of 10 in my book. Tammy, how would you rate tonight's Raw?
I think I would give it a 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I just do think there could have been just a tad bit more wrestling. I was reading some of the Blog Talk feeds, and somebody said something about, WWE being a little bit more geared towards the soap opera and the Facebook and social media. I kind of agree with that. Unfortunately, to a point that actually does kind of get the butts in the seats.
And that's definitely something that we need to touch up on in just a little bit. This is what we're going to do right now, because we have a lot of people that are on hold, and we want to hear from you guys that are on hold right now. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take just a brief pause. It's going to be a little bit over 2 minutes, commercial break, and then when we come right back, we're just going to open up the phone lines, and we are just going to let you guys have it. We want to hear your thoughts on tonight's episode of Raw 1000. So sit tight. You're listening to Monday night edition of the Rcwr Show. We'll be coming right back, folks. Hang tight.
Tired of those wrestling websites that give you redirects, spyware, weird pop-ups? How about those misleading headlines? Instead of hitting the keyboard in frustration, why not visit InfinityOneProductions.com? Infinity One is the source for wrestling-related news and so much more without all the hassle. Visit InfinityOneProductions.com. Your keyboard will thank you.
Hey guys, Lee Sanders here with the Rcwr Show, and I'd like to take this time out to tell you about 1 or 2 quick apps that I think you should check out when you get a free moment. First app I'd like to recommend to you is an app from Stitcher. Now, Stitcher allows you to be able to play all our episodes of the Rcwr Show and Impact Showdown on your portable devices, such as an Android phone, Kindle Fire, iPad, you name it, it'll be able to play it. So definitely highly recommend that you check that out. It's available for free in the App Store. Stitcher, new and smart way to play radio. Also, another cool app that I'd like to recommend to you all is a new app that came out not too long ago from Apple. That's right, Apple has recently come out with a free podcast app. Now, this app is really cool, folks, because after we are done doing our shows, all you have to do is just subscribe to our episodes. And you can do this by downloading this new free podcast app. All you have to do, visit the App Store on your iPhone or iPad and just search podcast. Once the app is downloaded, you can then type in the name of our shows, the Rcwr Show and Impact Showdown, and you'll be able to subscribe. It's that easy. So you have 2 cool free apps that you can check out and take all our episodes with you on the go. So get to it already.
Live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., this is the Rcwr Show with your host, Lee Sanders.
We're back. You're listening to a special Monday night edition of the Rcwr Show on January 24th now, 2012. We're now bleeding into Tuesday. Without any further ado, let's just go on with it. Let's jump into the wrestling fan line. If we're not able to talk about that very interesting topic that we had brought up at the very beginning of the show, we'll definitely bring it up on next Tuesday night's the Rcwr Show when we air at a regular time. Let's just go ahead. Let's just jump right into it. We got a ton of new callers that's on the air right now, so I'm just going to pick somebody random. Way we're going to do this, you come on, let us know your name, first name only. You don't have to put your whole name out there. Nobody needs to know all your business. Put your first name out there. Let us know where you're calling from. Then proceed with your comment, question,
so forth. So number to call, 646-478-3525. Again, that's 478-3525, area code 646. Let's go ahead. Let's jump right into it. I see caller from the 305 area code. You're on the air. You're live, my friend. How you doing? Caller from the 305 area code. Caller from the 305. Going once. Going twice. 3 times elated. Okay, let's go to caller from the 828 area code. Caller, you are now live on the air.
Hi, my name's Danielle. Carrier from Dandridge, Tennessee. Which y'all know. I did watch. I just watched wrestling today, and it looked like it was all good. I mean, y'all know. I'm a wrestling fan. I've been a wrestling fan since I was growing up, and I have a friend with me on three-way. He doesn't even know how to call in here, so he's been watching it too. We're both wrestling fans.
Well, that's good. So how did you both enjoy tonight's historic Raw episode?
It was good. Do you think it was good, Kelton?
Yes, I did think it was good. Good evening to all y'all out there. My name is Kelton, and I'm from Cairo, Georgia here, and I have been watching WWE ever since I was 7 years old. I'm a WWE fan. I am so crazy about John Cena. He's my favorite WWE superstar. My favorite women's diva is Kelly, and I always wanted to be a wrestler, but I'm like an anchor reporting wrestler. I like covering wrestling, and I cannot wait for SummerSlam when John Cena beats CM Punk and head on to January next year in 2013 at Rumble and face The Rock. I cannot wait for that.
Yeah,
I know it's gonna be off. It's gonna be off stage for that because I mean it's so cool. That's my catchphrase. Sorry, I like catchphrase.
What about earlier tonight? What about earlier tonight when we thought that Daniel Bryan was gonna
marry AJ. Remember the AJ? Yeah, and then she turns out to make a little advance that she's gonna I'm gonna get married, and then 1 minute she turns around and she signs a business proposal for being a manager. That is so
and then what about
wrong.
Well, you guys, we thank you so much for calling into the show. We're really glad that you had tonight's episode. We got to keep it moving because we are keeping track of the time here. We don't have that much time left, and we definitely want to try to get in as many people as possible because we have a lot of people that have been patiently waiting. So we got one guy that's been waiting for 41 minutes. Feel free to call back in anytime. For those of you that might be listening to us for the first time, we normally do our shows Tuesday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, and then we do a Thursday night show at 10 p.m. Eastern immediately following TNA Impact Wrestling. So definitely check that out. All right, let's go on ahead now, and let's go to another caller right now. Let's see, where can we go now? Let us go to, you know what? Let's go to Dave because he's been waiting for God knows how long, and I definitely would like to know what he thought about tonight's historic Raw 1000 episode. Dave, you're live on the air. Dave, you there? Caller from the 269 area code, you there? Going once? Going twice? 3 times a lady. Okay, that's my thing for tonight, Tammy.
Interesting.
We'll try Dave again because I know he's been waiting patiently. Let's go on ahead now. Let's go to Brian. I don't know the area code that he's calling from. Brian, you're live on the air.
Hey guys, how are you doing today?
Hey, pretty good, Brian.
Alrighty, I tried calling from my cell phone. I don't know what was wrong with it. The area code was the 305. But
we remember 305.
Yeah, I'm calling from Miami, Florida.
Hey, cool. So how'd you like tonight's episode?
Tonight's episode was really good. I figured, to be honest, I figured it to be more or less of like a pay-per-view type of thing, which is what everybody was really figuring it about. But my real concern is that since John Cena cashed in tonight's Money in the Bank briefcase, and yet he lost, wouldn't we agree that right there, that CM Punk right there had that chance to end the match right there, and say, you know what, let's at least wait for this match to be going into SummerSlam, or possibly next week. Could we agree on that right there?
Brian, thank you for that call. It's a very valid question, but at the same time, I kind of think you might be missing the mark, so to speak, Brian. I think what could possibly end up happening is we could possibly see John Cena come out the very next week on WWE Raw, and he can say to CM Punk, hey, man, look, you might have somehow been able to retain your championship, but I got screwed in that match. I need to have one more shot with you at SummerSlam. And for our loyal listeners that's been listening to our shows, you know that we said it on a recent episode of the Rcwr Show that it's a no-brainer. You got to have John Cena take on CM Punk. And I was saying this before Money in the Bank went down, with John Cena even being involved in the picture as the winner. It's a no-brainer. You got to build up a really nice deck for that pay-per-view. You're going to be in Los Angeles at the Staples Center. You want your best matches out there, correct, Tammy?
Oh, absolutely. For pretty much the other big pay-per-view of the year, which is SummerSlam. I mean, it's almost as big as WrestleMania.
Exactly. So, I mean, this is one of their big three: WrestleMania, SummerSlam. I would have to go with Royal Rumble. Survivor Series is a close fourth place runner-up right there. So, I mean, I really wouldn't be tripping over what had happened tonight. The payoff is still going to be the same, I feel. Let's go on ahead now and let's see who else we got on hold here. Let's try Dave one more time. Dave, you there, buddy?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, man. So how'd you like Raw tonight?
All right. It was a good show, but I think I overhyped it myself, thinking it was going to be this great, spectacular show. It was a good show, but I kept looking for Stone Cold and maybe to see some more old faces like Tori, Wilson, Stacy, even though any of them were confirmed as a nice surprise. Mm-hmm. So I think I kind of overhyped it myself. Mm-hmm. But I think my favorite moments on the show were seeing Lita come back. That was really cool. And me and my friends were here watching, and we just busted up laughing when we seen Mae Young's hand. I mean, we were just rolling on the floor laughing so hard because we remember that like it happened last week or something.
I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Mark Henry the father?
Yes, GTV caught
God.
that. GTV, yeah. That was just one of the highlights for it.
Yeah, I remember that, because Mark Henry was pushing his sexual chocolate gimmick. And for those of you that don't know it, go look it up on YouTube. His intro was so funny because that joint would come on, yeah, it's sexual chocolate, baby, and I want to give it all to you. I can't believe he had threw it down. What did you think about The Rock coming back? I mean, we don't have that much time left, but I definitely want to pick your brain. I don't know if you're thinking the same way I'm thinking, but to hear The Rock come back and say, oh, yeah, The Rock is back. The Brahma Bull is back. I'm going to be throwing it down at the Royal Rumble next year.
Well, it was leaked out earlier this year, some few months back after WrestleMania, about him coming back in 2013. Not surprised about that, but for SummerSlam, I could see a scenario where Rock comes back and teams with Cena to take on Big Show and CM Punk. I could see a scenario like that happening.
Oh, as opposed to seeing Punk defend the title?
I could see him doing something like that because they're going to have Brock and Triple H. I'm sure they're going to add some other ones on there. And I could also see Daniel Bryan. Looks like they kind of spoiled it, but Daniel Bryan winning the number one contender. So it looks like they showed him on SmackDown on that replay or that promo. And taking on Sheamus and Charlie Sheen being in his corner.
Very interesting dynamics right there, man. I'm telling you, very interesting dynamics right there.
And I am interested to see how you can receive some prizes too from the show tonight.
Yeah, let's do this. All the people that are on hold right now, those of you that are still on hold, this is what we have up for grabs for you right now. We got the ECW DVD that had recently came out. Tammy, I think you might have that DVD in front of you. Can you give them the information there, let them know exactly what DVD it is? And let's pop a little trivia question right now. Dave, we'll put you on the spot. And for those of you that think you can call in and answer the question, For those of you, it's going to be a different answer because we know how social media is. You can get your answer within record seconds. So, Dave, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, Dave, here's your question. Can you tell me the date? I want to know the month, the day, and the year that the first episode of WWE Raw aired.
Oh, the date. I can't remember the date. I know it was in 93. Oh, what was that date?
Oh, 15 seconds. Take it again.
June 23rd or something like that.
Oh, no. No, unfortunately, no. It was January 11th, 1993.
I just watched that, too.
See? That's all right next time. Don't worry. You'll get more chances to win some prizes. Don't worry. Let's give another person a chance to win. Let's go with caller from, actually, I think that's it. Wait, no. We got caller from the 510 area code. Now, your answer is going to be different. Your question is going to be different, so get ready. Caller 510, you there?
Yes.
All right. You want to play a little trivia?
Yes, I do.
All right. Can you please tell me at which WrestleMania did Undertaker make his first appearance?
That Brock Lesnar. Howard, you won't even come out.
All
this hype.
Oh man.
You got 20 seconds.
I know it was in 1991 of April, March 28th.
Oh, no. Sorry. We were way off, man. You were way off. Wow, you were way off right there. See, this ties in so perfectly because Undertaker has a WrestleMania DVD that's going to be coming out tomorrow, folks. Come on now. Tammy, can you let us know a little bit more about that ECW DVD? Lovely Tammy, you there? Lovely Tammy, yeah. What's the DVD? I don't know what's going on with Tammy, folks. But let's try to get in. Do we have time for one more caller, or that's it? No, that's actually it. That's all the people. All right. Well, I thank everybody that had took the time out to join us for this special 1000th episode of Raw. Thank those of you for participating in the chat room. A lot of active activity that's been going on in there. Definitely want to give a shout-out to those of you that are in the chat room right now. Special shout-out to our boy, NJ Brock. I love TNA Wrestling. Really appreciate you guys in there, of course. TWA 26, definitely appreciate you guys right there. Sports don't count, my friend, because you actually have a show on the website. So, sorry, but that automatically disqualifies